I'm at a Zen monastery. I was actually, as a young man, thinking of becoming a monk.
How long did you spend there?
Not that long, because my depression lifted while I was there. I think my motivation to become a monk was because of how depressed I was. I didn't think I was able to really function any other way than, than in a cloister, more or less. I wouldn't. Yeah, but then my depression cleared and I went back to school. Yeah, but I stayed associated with them for over 20 years. Went up there.
What do you attribute your depression lifting to?
Well, it was I think it was a minor enlightenment experience. That's not to say that I'm enlightened or anything, but but if you look at the phenomenology of the enlightenment experience, it's on a scale. There's gradations, like the major one, and then smaller little ones. Yeah, I was walking back from a work assignment. They were asked, one thing they liked doing was, because I was a medical student back then, thought I was hot shit. I was always given the worst assignments, the worst work assignments, like clean the toilets or knock down this hill. So one day they said, can you move that hill? So I had my shovel and my pick. I was 22 years old or whatnot. Yeah, and I was coming back from the work project, and my depression just lifted right off my shoulders. It was the damnedest thing. It was about 15, 30 seconds or so. I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, and the end of the day came, and I woke up the next morning, and I was still feeling pretty good.
Wow.
So I was indebted to them for helping pull me out of that bad mood. It was a bad mood, too. I had to drop out of school.
Was it directly after you had to move the hill?
It was on the way back to the tool shed. Yeah.
Did you do anything before that physically?
I don't remember what my other work assignment was. It was an afternoon work assignment, as I remember.
I mean, in your life. Did you ever do any hard labor?
Oh.
You ever work out? You ever take a sport?
Yeah, I ran track.
You ran track.
It was the sprints, though, so it was just a sudden burst of energy. It wasn't anything prolonged. I've done a lot of strenuous hiking and backpacking.
The sprinting, when you were doing that, were you particularly happy or depressed when you were doing that?
No. Sprinting itself is great. It's like
I don't mean that. I mean during the time period where you were participating in sprinting, did you have any depression?
No. Well, I suppose teen
angst.
Yeah, teenager angst. Growing up in the San Fernando Valley.
Right, that everybody has.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I had that while I was doing martial arts. It's not like it cures it. But I do know personally, if I go long periods of time where I don't exercise, I get depressed. I don't feel good. I feel shitty. I feel off. I think our bodies, put vanity aside, because I think a lot of very intelligent people associate exercise with vanity. But I think your body has a physical requirement to achieve like homeostasis, to achieve balance, to achieve like an ability to kind of like exist in a neutral place. You're always affected by the world, but the more neutral you are, the better. Like the more you exist, and you're not like constantly wound up about something, or constantly upset about this, or constantly fearing that, or being overwhelmed with anxiety. I think some of that is in response to a lack of physical movement. I think the body is designed to exist in a very primal world that doesn't exist anymore. And so because the body had a lot of requirements 10,000, 15,000 years ago, I think we're still programmed in that general way. And that the only way to keep a balance of the mind and the body together for me is to constantly engage in exercise, rigorous exercise.
Yeah. What kind of diet do you follow?
Mostly I eat meat. Mostly meat.
Mostly meat.
Yeah.
Beef?
Yeah, I eat beef, but I eat a lot of wild game, a lot of elk. I eat deer and wild pigs. I do eat some vegetables sometimes, but only if I feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't eat them for nutrition. I eat fruit, and I take a lot of vitamins.
Yeah, and no grains.
I mean, I'll eat greens every now and then. I'll have like a salad if I feel like having a salad, but I don't think I'm having a salad for health. You know, I think
It's for taste.
yeah, it's for just I like eating stuff.
Yeah, do you like pretzels?
I do. I try not to eat them.
Yeah, I love pretzels. That's my weak
They're kind of
spot.
bullshit. But I was at the mall the other day, and we walked by, what is it, Annie's? Annie's Pretzels? Is that what it is?
Good.
Whatever. It's crack. I didn't eat one.
Yeah.
But that smell, the smell in the air was like, there was a giant-ass line, a huge line. There's no line for anything else in that food court. But that pretzel line was big.
There must be something in those pretzels.
Deliciousness.
Yeah, MDMA.
They're so good. They're so good. No, there's no MDMA. It's just delicious. You feel terrible right after you ate it. Like, what did I do?
That's like MDMA.
Yeah, but there's no 5-HTP that you can take that's going to help you.
Right.
The down you feel off of a pretzel sometimes is worth it, though, because they're so delicious. Especially the ones that wrap a hot dog in the pretzel.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
baby.
A month or two ago, I was at Union Station in Los Angeles, and there was a stand, selling, the encased hot dogs in
Yeah.
pretzels. You have to
Yeah.
apply a fair amount of mustard.
They're so good, though.
Yeah.
Right? It's delicious. Terrible for you. So good, though.
We took an Amtrak back from Union Station to Albuquerque, like an overnight.
How's that?
Well, it was quaint, but it wasn't like efficient.
It's too slow.
It's pretty slow, pretty noisy.
And you start thinking, I could have been on a plane. I would have already been there.
Right, it would have been just 2 hours rather than whatever it was, 14 or so.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Well, I mean, look at European trains, though. You can really have fun on a European train. They're comfy, they're on time, good food, good coffee.
What's the fastest train? Is it Japan? Do they have the bullet trains?
I think the Chinese? Or the Japanese, yeah, really, really fast.
Yeah. That's one of the things that Elon was trying to do with America. They were trying to put bullet trains that would take you from San Francisco to New York City in like a few hours.
Yeah, I mean, there should be no reason not to do that,
The only reason would,
other than the automobile industry.
well, also tracks. Like, who's watching those tracks? If you're going 1,000 miles an hour or whatever you're going, who's watching the tracks? Who's making sure someone doesn't put something on the tracks?
Right. That's even a concern now, but yeah, it would certainly be if people are going 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, like I'm amazed at how few derailments there are. If you think about how many trains are flying back and forth.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Gallup, New Mexico for years, and it's a train town, more or less. And there were, I think, there were 3 trains came through every hour, 24/7. So
Wow.
70 trains, 75 trains every day would go through town, and there were very few derailments.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty effective.
But you're constantly waiting for trains then. Like there's always those things that come down, ding, 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 ding. You
yeah.
gotta sit there and wait while the train flies by.
Yeah, it was a point of controversy in that little town. Like, were they going to build a tunnel underneath or a bridge over? Yeah, yeah. The business folks in the downtown area, and it would be noisy too. The trains would go by, 35 miles an hour, and they're big trains. Like, some of the cargo trains are more than a mile long. And they can just take forever to cross 2nd and 3rd Street, and you're just stuck there.
Yeah, fuck that.
Right. Well,
I just wouldn't want to be in a place that's that noisy, especially if you're in New Mexico. It's kind of quiet.
well, your bones rattle when the trains go by, and they honk their horns. Like they have to do 3, then 2, then 3, then 2.
Well, there's some apartments in New York City,
Right.
where the apartment building's there and the train's going right in front of the apartment building.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
how cheap is that rent that you agree to that?
Yeah, and the long-term effects on your mental and
Oh.
physical health.
Yeah. Well, whenever someone's crazy in a movie, they always live there. They just live like right where the train is. It kind of accentuates their craziness, right? They
Yeah.
get no rest.
I know. Well, my mom's mom lived in a little town in western Pennsylvania, and the coal trains would pass through her backyard basically. Like there's a little hill in her backyard and the train tracks, and I really enjoyed sitting there as the trains went by, smelling the exhaust. That was something. That was an early manifestation of my
Look at this.
Have you seen these in China?
Whoa, that's crazy. It goes through the building.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that would be noisy.
Imagine if you're above that trying to sleep. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's not real.
Whoa, that
that's not
can't be real.
Yeah, that can't be real. Yeah, they couldn't find anybody to live there.
You could.
Well, but I guess prisoners maybe.
Somebody would agree.
It could be a jail or a prison too.
Well, yeah, or just some crazy person that just thinks that's a good idea. You know, a lot of people like to live in different
They
ways.
also have this. They're like their markets right on the train line,
Whoa,
and they have to like pick up the stuff when it comes through.
what?
Yeah, that's efficient.
So they quickly grab their baskets and stuff and
Yeah.
pull it out of the way?
Yeah, because like people are walking on the train track.
That's nuts. That is crazy.
Yeah, and rather than move, they just figure it out.
Wow. 8 times a day, 7 days a week. Wow.
You have to put things away. You have 3 minutes.
Oh, really? Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many dogs do they lose
Yeah.
every year?
Well,
Well, suicides
Hands.
too.
I'm sure.
You know, lots of people that like at the small town I was living in. That would be like a